really excited to have Danny DeVito back on. I love this young man. He's fiery. He's pushing some boundaries, and he's speaking up against a governor I think a lot of us wish if we could sit down and have in a room, we would say, what are you doing? Exactly what are you doing? Danny's running. He's a Pennsylvania House candidate, and he's also making some waves out there. I'd love to have you back, Danny. Welcome, dear.
Thanks for having me back on, Wendy. I appreciate it.
This is great to have you. Okay, so you pushed this first in the state Supreme Court, 4-3 against you, but you thought, I'm not going down. I like a fighter. So give me the thought process and what is behind this lawsuit.
That's right. So last time I was on, I talked about how we filed with the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to end the business shutdown. Now we've taken it to the United States Supreme Court. As you said, the decision was against us 4-3 in the state Supreme Court. So our attorney, Mark Scaringi, filed a writ of certiorari with the United States Supreme Court. We have an application before Justice Alito, and we're asking them to stay the governor's order so that businesses can start to reopen under federal guidelines.
So what you're looking for is immediate action so people can get back to work.
That's right. We want this to happen as fast as possible because we know businesses are hurting now. You know, I met with small businesses today, and if this doesn't come to an end soon, some are not going to be able to reopen.
Well, I think the hammer has already fallen for so many, and it's absolutely sickening to know. I think we've all had this pent-up feeling of, wanting to scream and not being, sure anybody would hear your voice, because I just don't think this governor is listening to the people in this Commonwealth who are losing everything. Danny, tell us what you've been hearing from your folks.
Sure. So I've been talking with small business owners almost all day, every day, and they all share pretty similar stories. There's a couple differences here and there. But for the most part, what's being missed, the governor keeps trying to plug the hole on this, but people's expenses didn't just stop for the course of the lockdown. They're not going to just reopen and, proceed as usual. I mean, they're going to have 3 months built up of expenses plus normal operating expenses. So these loan programs that have fallen through, most people were not able to get these loans. Most people can't even get through to these offices.
Amen.
So Governor Wolf needs to answer for that, and so do a lot of these local representatives who aren't representing the people.
I agree.
I mean, you can't even get in touch with them.
No, or you get a form letter response that bings back to you from email. It is the most insulting thing, and it's terrifying for these folks who are literally watching everything they've put their lives into slip through their fingers. Interestingly with this, Danny, is you've got a couple businesses who are like co-sponsors or co-people with you on this measure. Tell me about that.
Right. Sure. So we have businesses from around the state that also joined our lawsuit. There was a real estate agent, there was a laundromat, there was a golf course. So all of these businesses kind of saw the same thing that we saw, and we said, we have to join forces in order to push this lawsuit. So it's the entire state's represented almost, and, different types of businesses that are all saying that this is really negatively affecting them.
Ugh.
And, it's interesting because Governor Wolf has started to loosen some restrictions on golf courses and real estate. And, maybe that's strategic to try to weaken our argument, but we certainly think that he's at least paying attention to what we need him to do. But
Amen.
He's still not going far enough, and
No.
his 3-phase thing is totally ridiculous.
Well, it's the no plan plan.
His left-wing agenda.
Right. There's no plan in the plan. It's a total joke. Joining us live in the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh Newsline is Danny DeVito. He's a Pennsylvania House candidate. Also taking something right to the Supreme Court. That's got to be kind of surreal for you, doesn't it? To see Justice Alito's name on something, you got to be like, Shazam! This is cool.
It's really interesting because, I never expected it to go this far, this quickly, but you know what? I'm happy about it because, with everything going on, we need it to happen quickly. But, it definitely is surreal seeing your name on Fox News and, CNN even and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but we're happy that small businesses are having their voices listened to finally because it's been 2 months now. And, I guess better late than never, but it would have been nice if, some of the press were picking this up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I was listening to Judge Andrew Napolitano talk about your case this morning. Did you hear that?
I actually missed it, but somebody sent me it and posted it on social media, so I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
Well, it was interesting. It was interesting because the anchor was asking him, what is the likelihood that the high court will actually get involved in something like this? And I think that you have a very interesting chance of this, and I think it's very exciting. How are you feeling, and how does your legal counsel feel?
We're feeling very positive because so much of the authority claimed by the governor, never existed at all in the history of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So,
Yep.
In a way, the court needs to address this because it's a new issue. And, we need some guidance on this. We need some parameters for the future. And I also think it's interesting that Attorney General Barr...
Boom, I was going to say that, yes.
Prosecutors
yes.
to look at it.
Yeah. So Barr has come out saying, look, these governors that are overstepping their boundaries, and quite a few have, we're going to come looking at what you've done. The problem is it's going to be too late. And that's the frustration. It's this snail's pace of anything that has to do with government. And when it has to do with your business and your livelihood, it can't work like that. Tell me what it was like to be at the rally.
The rally was a really good experience, and it was small business owners from Pittsburgh, from the suburbs, and from really well beyond. I mean, there were people from all over Western Pennsylvania, and it was good to have a chance to talk with so many people that I had spoken with by phone or on social media, to meet them in person. But this was hundreds of business owners coming together to, petition their government for redress of grievances. So it was the most American thing possible. And, it was great to see, people coming together in a way, to support one another. So it was really a beautiful rally, I think.
Right. And because I think most people who, and this is not like a Trump thing, but it becomes a Trump thing because it feels almost as though the people who were going to these rallies were supporters with the Trump flags and the American flags. We should all be pro-American. We should all be pro-business, regardless who's in the White House,
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that's one of the real sad things, that we're seeing with the modern Democratic Party. They've really turned their back on small businesses and American workers.
Amen.
And you know what? I think, I'm a big supporter of President Trump, and I think that, once again, this is going to backfire on the Democrats, and we're going to see a Republican landslide this November.
Before I let you go, Danny DeVito, tell everybody how they can learn more about you and your candidacy.
Sure, they can go on www.DannyDeVitoPA.com. Again, that's DannyDeVitoPA.com. That has links to all of our social media, and they can always feel free to add my accounts on there. I'm pretty easy to find on Facebook and Twitter, Danny DeVito PA. So, I encourage people to reach out to me directly because there's still a lot of groundwork to be done.
Amen.
We're not just fighting this in the courts. We're going to continue to put pressure on our elected leaders.
And everybody here in Pennsylvania needs somebody like you on their side. Danny, thank you for carving out a few minutes for us. We appreciate your time, love.
All right, Wendy, thank you for having me back on.
Take care, dear.